what it is, what's happening. So I really didn't have a whole lot going on this weekend. We had some things go on. The girlfriend's daughter got married, so kind of put a damper on any of the projects. Weather was bad, so today I'm just kind of piddling around. Got a motor job going on in this Equinox, and I've got some parts on order I won't see for a day or so. So kind of at a standstill on that. So I thought today would be a great day to just kind of piddle with the tow truck. So got my heater hoses on. I did manage to get some pulleys. Was upstairs in the attic where I've got all my selection of quality parts. Was digging around looking for some stuff, and I came across a couple of pulleys. They aren't really the right ones. This pulley should be a double pulley because this is an air-conditioned truck, and I am going to put the air condition back on it. But for right now, because the lower crank pulley is not correct either, but for right now, to get the truck going, we're not worried about the air conditioner right this second anyway. So this was able to get a belt on it, so we get the alternator on it, got a belt on the power steering. Got our heater hoses on, found some fittings because I didn't have any fittings, got them on. So we're just kind of cleaning up, tightening up stuff. Over here, we've got, so because this truck is an automatic truck, the winch that's on the boom is electric. This is the solenoid. That's the cable going back to the winch, so I got to make a cable from here over to here. This wire, we need to make a connection over here because this wire right here feeds a control panel inside the truck for like the bar lights, the work lights, and it also powers up the switch that powers up the solenoid. This is a continuous duty solenoid, so when you flip the switch, it pulls in and allows power to go to the winch. You hit the switch off and bloop, it goes out, so there's no power to the winch. So that's kind of today's project. We got this little wire here, goes over to our alternator. That's the power wire from the alternator. All this stuff was missing and really butchered up. This here mess will take off. It's for our air condition. We're going to do the air condition later. Right now, it's just a matter of getting everything tightened up under the hood, getting it so the truck just hit the key, fires right up, and can go. Then we're going to we got to do a little bit of body work, nothing really major. It's actually pretty straight. Like I said, I got the doors from a buddy of mine. They got a couple little spots we got to straighten up. But we need to pull the fenders off or slide the front clip forward so we can get to the hinges and adjust the doors, because the doors are just on there. The adjustment is horrible. The gap is just extremely terrible. I mean, put my finger in there all the way down. So we're not restoring this truck. We're not trying to make it perfect, but we do want the doors to open and close correctly. So I want to adjust them up, get them as close to perfect as can be. These things were never perfect from the factory. They were work trucks. We're going to make it as nice as we can make it, and put some paint on it. Now I think we're going to paint this truck a flat green, a similar shade of flat green that I could get to the 52 wrecker. Because I'd really ultimately like to have them both lettered and kind of look like, you know, a fleet, even though I'm not really in business anymore to tow, but I thought it'd be kind of neat to have the old wrecker and a newer wrecker and have them lettered up about the same. So if we do like a parade or, you know, car show or something like that, it'd be kind of cool. That's what I think. So that's where I'm at with this project for today. I'm just kind of piddling, really. It's not a whole lot really going on. Now, I did have a couple people ask me, why is the motor blue in this truck? Why is it blue? Well, if you're a GM guy, and you GM guys already know the answer to that question. Late 70s, early 80s, early to mid 80s, they were painted blue. GM corporate blue is what they called it. I don't know why they painted them blue. I couldn't even tell you. I'm not going to try to give a history lesson because I don't know. But they were painted blue. And then eventually they were painted black. In fact, this truck, the 52 wrecker, is sitting on an 84 Chevy frame. I'm going to show you all this horsepower. But if you look very, very close, and it might be hard to see, You can kind of make it out here between the grease. In fact, let me spin you around. If you look close enough past the grease, you'll see that this motor is blue. As far as I know, that is the original motor. The guy I bought this truck from, he put the aluminum intake on it, and he put the Holly, whatever size carburetor is, I really don't know, because I've never taken the air cleaner off. Didn't really care. But there's a lot of things I'm going to fix on this truck. We're going to put all new heater hoses on it. We're going to do something with these plug wires that are 9 miles long. It's got some decent battery cables. I think we're going to relocate. They got the battery up here. I think we're going to put it down underneath the floor. There's a lot of stuff like that we're going to do to this truck. This terrible fuel line setup, it's just a fire waiting to happen. We're going to fix that. Probably do something with this upper air hose. They could have used a straight thermostat housing and made that a little shorter. So we're going to do something there. There's a lot of stuff we got to straighten up on this truck, but that's not the project for today. That's a project for later on. But I did have a couple people ask why this motor was blue. And this motor originally was going to go in an 80 Chevy van that I had or have. And that's why it was painted blue. This motor was running, but it ran like crap. It is a new motor, but it ended up having a bad head. So I ended up putting a set of heads on this motor, and in the meantime, the van that needed a motor got a different motor. So that's how this motor ended up in this truck. So as of today, as I'm talking to you, I have about $800 in this entire truck. Now, I know somebody's going to say, wait a minute, how do you have $800 with a fresh motor? Like I said, this motor originally was going to go in a van I have. I don't know why I keep saying had. It's over there. But it had a problem. So I ended up putting a different motor in the van, got the van going, it was done. So then I pulled the heads off, found the heads were messed up, put a set of heads on it, got everything together, rounded up everything to put this in a Chevy rollback that I had bought a few years ago. I bought a Chevy rollback from a buddy of mine that had the raggedy 6.2 diesel in it. He had pulled the diesel and was going to put a gas in it, but ended up buying another truck. I bought the truck from him motorless, fixed this motor, put this motor 100% together, and then ended up selling the rollback because I bought something else, just like I always do. Made money on the rollback and moved on with life, but I kept the motor. So, as of today, I gave $650 for this truck, and the rest of the money is just like little crap like hoses, you know, thermostat housing, little crap. I went and bought $30 today for 2 belts. So I don't have a whole lot of money in this truck because everybody keeps saying, "Oh, where you get all this money?" Hell, a lot of stuff that I've used on this truck so far is from abandoned projects. The motor was gonna go in something, then turn around, didn't use it, then was going to use it in something else, but ended up selling that project, made money on it, moved on, but kept the motor. So now it's like found money. However, I have had to take and hunt down stuff that I don't have, such as pulleys and brackets, but I have been slowly finding stuff because I don't throw any of this stuff away. But with the big move that I did from moving up north down to the beach, a lot of stuff just don't know where it is. But I have been finding stuff little at a time, which brings me to another project that I'm going to move over to for a little while because I love starting new projects. I am the project king. So, just like I always do, just bounce around to some other piece of junk. This Dodge Wrecker. I bought this last year. It has a small block Chevy in it, but the motor is full of water. It's no good. So the story I got on that Dodge was they were going to put a small block in it because I'm assuming the flathead 6-cylinder blew up. They never finished it. The guy passed away. The truck was in storage for the last 16, 17 years. This is the story I got. Well, I'm at a standstill on some of my other projects. Not so much this Wrecker. This Wrecker's moving along pretty well. There's a couple things I gotta get for it. Like I said, we're not really going to touch this green Chevy just yet. And the main reason I'm not really ready to touch it yet is I'm still trying to find a wrecker bed. I've got a couple lined up to look at. I'm not going to do anything to the truck till I find a wrecker bed. And then I'm going to start working on it, probably in another month or so. But in the meantime, I'd like to really get this thing closer to roadworthy and be able to put some color on it in the next month. It's not going to take much. I'm not going crazy with the truck. I'm going to straighten up the big dents, which isn't many. It's, like I said, the bottom of the doors and stuff. Get everything straightened up, glide over it, sand it. I'm not going crazy. I'm going to buy a gallon of flats green, and that's it. It's going to go green. It's going to go flat color, and it's done. As far as like the boom and inside the bed, we're just going to probably just brush paint the floor, just a battleship gray or something, because we are going to use this truck. So I don't want it to be 100% perfect. I would like the front sheet metal and all to be as clean and as straight and as nice as I can make it. And like I said, the fenders, the hood and all, they're really nice on this truck, and the cab is exceptional on this thing. So once we get a little color on it, it's just start to look like something. Got to order a radiator, but once a couple side jobs are done, I'll go on and spend $600-700 on this truck and get the rest of the parts that I need. Missing a fan shroud, need a radiator, and need a clutch fan. Need a grill and some headlight bezels, and a couple of little tiny crappy items. But for the most part, we're pretty there with this project. The only big thing that we got to buy is, I think I'm just going to buy a brand new carburetor. This carburetor, it works enough to get it running and to move it around the yard, but it's just, I could probably take it apart. I could probably go through it, but for, I don't know, $250 or whatever, just get a brand new one. And that way I got a fool with it. So it brings me to that Dodge truck we were talking about. Since we're at a standstill on a couple of parts, the Jeep project is not on hold. It's still moving along. It's just time. Like I said, we weren't here yesterday due to a wedding, and the weather was crappy. Today, we're kind of relaxing, and I'm just kind of piddling. But I'm going to put this motor together, which I started working on actually yesterday morning before we went out of here. I'm going to put this motor in that Dodge tow truck. And again, I'm using everything I have laying around. This is a 350 Chevy 4-bolt. This was one of the motors that had an issue that was supposed to go in the van as well. The van was it was nothing but a pain. This motor came out of, this was a crate motor. When I say crate motor, I don't mean like a remanufactured. This is one of those new replacement 350 Chevys you could buy from GM. Like, they're brand new. They've never been started. They've never had oil in them in their entire life. They're a Mexican motor, basically. They actually say Mexico inside the heads. But it's a 350. It is a 4-bolt, because I've had all the tin off this motor. This motor ran when it was in the box truck, but it ran like crap. But this box truck was a piece of junk. This box truck had mice and squirrels that chewed through everything. There was plug wires that were chewed in half. So I just assumed it was fine. The box truck had 0 miles on it since the motor had been put in it. It was a box truck my father had. He used for storage, and when he moved his shop, he couldn't take it with him. So I ended up with it, and I used it for storage. Well, when I was done using it for storage, it was time for the truck to go to the junkyard, because it was rotted out really, really bad. So I pulled this motor, cleaned it up, pulled the oil pan, pulled the timing cover, pulled the intake, valve covers, clean as a whistle inside, like brand new. Never pulled the heads. Put it all back together, gave it a coat of paint, stuck it in my van, fired it up, it ran like crap. It had a blown head gasket between the cylinders. How that happened, I don't know. This thing did run horrible. I don't know. So I pulled the motor back out, bought that blue motor that's in the wrecker now, stuffed it in the van. It ran like crap, pulled it back out, and put a motor that I had put together a couple years ago that was for another project, stuck it in the van. The van is done. The van runs perfect. So I fixed the blue motor. Obviously, it's got a home. So now I'm going to fix this 350 Chevy, and I'm going to stuff it in that Dodge truck. I'm going to redo the motor mounts and stuff that they made, because they're really, really crude, and they're just kind of cut with a torch, and they didn't even take a grinder to them. So I'm going to use, again, just using stuff I have. These are a set of V8 swap motor mounts for putting a V8 in a Toyota pickup. I'm going to use these, and I'm going to make a couple pieces of flat bar to come off the frame with a hole in it. Done. There is a motor sitting in that truck right now, and where it's at is where I'm going to make the mounts, and then I'm going to pull that motor out. I'll have this motor ready. So in the next week or so, we will be firing this motor up on the engine stand, making sure it runs, making sure it holds oil pressure, make sure it runs on all 8 cylinders before we put it in the Dodge truck. And I think it'll be fine. But we're still going to do that. I just cleaned up an aluminum intake for it. I just found a 650 carburetor in the other building that I'm pretty sure is a good one. I got a set of headers, but I can't find them. They got to be in this back half of the building because I don't know where they are. And I can't find an HEI distributor anywhere. And I know I've got a couple of them, but might just have to buy one off Amazon or something. So that's where we're at with this project. This is just a bone stock. I mean, you can see she's clean. This is just a bone stock 350 Chevy. I don't know. What are they? 195 horse or something? They ain't much. But it's fine because it's an old tow truck. We're not looking to burn the tires off it. I've got a turbo 350 trans I'm going to put in it, and we'll make it automatic. I've got a lot of stuff laying around. I'm just trying to use up some of the junk that I've got. So the objective is to just stuff the motor in it and just kind of like literally make it run off of a gas jug and a battery laid on the floor. Just make it so that it'll run and it'll move, and then we'll probably stop working on it. Just going to kind of piddle with it. As far as, like I said, the Jeep, I haven't stopped working on it. Obviously, last weekend, finished up putting the clutch in the red wrecker, which is on the other side of the property. And we needed the red wrecker to run so we could use it to put the bed back on the Jeep. But like I said, we finished that up last Sunday, and then this weekend we had a wedding. And today's, as you can see, is not a really nice day. It's temperature-wise, it's beautiful out, but so I'm just kind of piddling, taking it easy. And that's about all I got for you guys for this week. For you guys that enjoy the content, I'm glad. For you new guys that come, awesome. Try to put something out you guys enjoy. And if you enjoy this old junk, these old wreckers, and these toilet bowls that I got, I'll bring you along. I'm going to wrap up putting this motor in this Equinox, which is, just a great job that I'm sure everybody would love to watch a video on. Not. This turd swallowed a motor. Actually, it swallowed the timing chains, and it's junk. So it's getting this motor. This motor that's in here is actually ready to come out. There's literally one bolt holding it to the bell housing, and then it can come out. The only reason I didn't take it out is I just didn't feel like it. I got to get a cat converter for it. The cat converter is actually all melted inside. I'll spin it around and show you. If you look in there, it's supposed to look like a nice honeycomb. You can actually see that it's actually somewhat all distorted and melted. So what happened was, this thing more likely, these things are notorious for burning oil, but the timing chain actually failed on this thing. So my guess is, if I have to take a professional, educated guess here, I would say the fact that this thing burns oil, or was burning oil, and the fact that it jumped time, it was probably still running, but it was running like crap. It might have been making it run lean and making it run really hot. And the reason I say that is the O2 sensor I took out of this thing is all destroyed. Now this is all the stuff off of the new used motors going in, and I had the O2 sitting somewheres, but it had burned the bottom of the O2 out, and that's what leads me to believe destroyed it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The whole bottom of it's just gone. So that tells me that this thing got really, really hot and more or less just melted this off, because that's the way it looks. I mean, at the end of the day, this little cover goes up and around here. If you guys had O2 sensors out before, you'll know what it's supposed to look like. So when I got this out, I had to take this out to get the shield off of the exhaust manifold so I could get to the 3 bolts that hold the cat. When I got the O2 out and I saw that, I went, uh-oh, we got a problem. So I kind of was already expecting the cat to be burned. Now these little Ecotech GM motors are known to burn oil. They're known for time and chain issues. I mean, they're notorious for this. They're horrible. And when I tell you I've probably put 100 of these motors in, I'm not lying. I've probably put 100 of these motors in. I can't tell you how many timing chains I've done of these. And I'm a mechanic. I'm a 35-year master mechanic of all makes. But I'm not I guess you could say, I'm not a dealership GM master mechanic where they probably see a ton of these. But I could tell you, this is a problem. And as many as I've done, I could probably do them just as fast as a guy that does them every day at the dealership, because I've done that many of them. These motors are not that hard to put in. This turd is all-wheel drive. So the reason I'm just waiting for the cat to come in, it's a lot easier to set the cat in there before I put the motor in, because the all-wheel drive is all in the way. So with the motor out, nothing's really in my way. I can slip it in real quick, set the motor in, and go on with life. So that's kind of what I'm at. So tomorrow, I'm ordering the cat for this. I'll have it probably by Tuesday. Pop the motor, and then pop, where's he at? Pop that unit in. That unit's got, I believe like 52,000 on it. This car's got 110. It's just, you know, it's part of the late model things that we find with late model cars. Unfortunately, you know, these things are just really not designed to be fixed. They're really throwaway cars, in my opinion. But this kind of stuff right here is what pays so that I can have this stuff right here. That's what allows me to play with the toys, do the stuff around here. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to spend a lot of money on the ceiling, is my next big spender. I'm going to try to buy some stuff for the projects, but I got to get some insulation in here. Winter's coming, and I don't like the cold. So I'm going to pretty much wrap it up for today. I'm done flapping my jaws. Hopefully you guys, I don't know, maybe you got something out of that. Who knows? But sit tight. I've got some stuff coming down the road as usual. Maybe I'll bring you guys along. I got to put some fender well headers on that Bronco once this unit's done. That's a buddy of mine's Bronco. I'm actually going to probably, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've got so much work I got to do. But the next couple of jobs I got to put a motor in this Chevy van, and it's not really going to fit in there. The Bronco won't fit in here. So I might roll the Dodge tow truck in, back it in, so I can make motor mounts and pop the old motor out. And I can tinker with that while I work on some side work out front here in front of the door. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So look, holler at your boy. Keeps it reals. Catch me on the next one.